One has the password. I think maybe we can get a slide to put up before the next meeting, to the password. No? Okay, but we have to say it again then. Because people are coming in at different points.
AWM-private is the network. AWM and the P are all capital. The password is lowercase, Astoria 25-22. And that's the password to get in. Dash.
Okay, good evening, everyone. How are you? We are still assembling board members, but I feel like it's important that we start on time. We don't need quorum to start our meeting, but we definitely need a quorum once we're voting. So with that, I'd just like to welcome everybody here, welcome our members of the public who are observing today, any reps that we have here. Just in case you want to know what the agenda is, we're going to be starting with a presentation from Parks. We'll then be going into our public hearing regarding a rezoning on 31-17 12th Street. We'll then move into our business session. We'll hear from our elected officials or representatives, and then public session where the public can come and speak for 2 minutes about any concern or idea or whatever it is that they may want to talk about. So with that, let's begin with our presentation from Parks. Thank you. I think we have mics for you.
Can everyone hear me?
No, we want you to speak into a mic so we can record it.
Perfect.
So even if you have a
Can everyone hear me?
Project.
Okay.
Great.
So my name's Alex Servos. I'm from the New York City Parks Department. I'm a project manager there. So we're going to be presenting the Astoria Park Pool, the filtration system reconstruction. I'm going to start off by saying that the pool is on track to open this summer, so I'll start by that. Yes, because I know everyone has that question.
Okay, summer, do you mean early summer, midsummer, late summer?
It's on track for June, for
Awesome.
the completion for pool opening, so
Thank
it is
you.
on track for that. You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
But we're here tonight because as we're getting closer to opening, there is a set of doors that we'd like to propose with a letter of support from the community board that we like to then also take to landmarks. That's along the west elevation on Shore Boulevard. And so this is the existing condition along Shore Boulevard, just an elevation showing it. This is the area of work that we're looking at. So it's currently, which many of you already know, it has sort of that glass block and the brick that's crumbling. We're reconstructing that entire west elevation. So we put in the new louvers. We've done all the brick reconstruction. And as we were going through the construction, our contractor found that it was an ideal place to have an opening there to get all their equipment into the filtration room, to go up and down because of an elevation change. And so you'll see in some photos that are coming up, but there's currently a temporary door that's there that's made out of wood. And so we would like to make those permanent doors for the future so that Parks maintenance and operations can access the mechanic room that's within. And there are some photos showing what's going on inside as well. And so this is sort of the proposed elevation. These are the new louvers across the elevation, and this would be the set of doors. And they're 8 by 8, so that's currently the temporary opening that's there. And then in terms of a site plan, this is Shore Boulevard, and this is the location of the doors. And then obviously the pool. There's the pool. And then a location map. So currently, that is the elevation that many of you already know that's along Shore Boulevard. That's the location of the new double door that we're looking to propose, and it's in line with what's going on right now in the park. It's just a very basic steel black double door that's flat from the outside, and then it's for our maintenance and operations to bring things such as lifts, et cetera, for the new mechanical equipment and filtration systems that are inside the building. So it wouldn't be for the pool or the bathhouse. And then again, that's the location of the door from the street, which there's many trees and shrubs that are there, so it is somewhat obstructed. So these are the temporary doors that are there currently, and the opening that lead down into the mechanical room. So they're just doors that are now. And if the new permanent doors do not go in, it would just get infilled with brick. but our maintenance and operations are very fond of it being there for them because it is an ideal spot for them to bring in lifts and equipment that currently they don't have that access to. So all the mechanical equipment that was sort of resting outside the building is now inside. And then a proposed rendering of the doors. So they're just black steel doors that would go there. And then inside, this is what's going on now. I wish I had a before image, but it is much better inside there. But that is the ideal location. There is a ramp there, and then the doors from the inside, which you can see. And then these are doors that are, they're in not the best of shape, but these are currently around the park, and we'd be in line with them, steel basic black doors. This is the mechanical room inside. You can see in this image on the left, there is a lift that's there that they're using currently, that they're able to access things that are above, and some of this filtration system that's above. And so they were able to get that in through those doors and down that ramp. And then just some more pictures of doors that are around and nearby, and why we are proposing sort of basic steel double doors. And then the nearby playground as well that was recently completed and approved also by LPC. So a steel black double door. Steel black door in this case. And then this is the proposed door that we're looking to put in that location. It's a very quick presentation, but it's important that we wanted to show the community board because for a letter of support, because our next step would be to go to Landmarks to then propose this to them so that then the contractor can stay on schedule and install this in time for the pool opening. So that's it right there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alex. We'd like to allow any board members to ask any questions they may have. Okay, Danny, we'll start with you. Yes.
Hello? Yeah. My understanding is that double doors are inherently less secure than a single door would be. So my question is, how are you going to secure those doors? And has there been a history of any vandalism has anybody gotten in there and done any damage at this point?
So that's a great question. The doors that would go in, so we currently have there's an 8x8 opening that's there. So we were proposing the larger expanse for the equipment to come in easily. But also these doors would have no handles on the outside. So they actually would be, because of the chemical equipment that's inside and the filtration, they'd actually be flush. So there'd be no access from the outside. There'd be for M&O to come in from the inside and push them open. So they'd be secure steel doors. In terms of any vandalism or break-ins, at least during construction, I know there hasn't been. But I'm happy to follow up with our staff to answer that question more in depth. I could definitely ask. Thank you. You're welcome.
Chris, and then Richard, and then Tony.
Hi, thank you for your presentation. Just to be clear, use the microphone. Oh, sure, right in front of me too. Thank you. I'm just going to take it like this. The purpose of replacing these doors is purely for the construction phase, or what role will it play after the pool is open and up and running and there's no more construction?
So sorry if that wasn't clear.
Well, you may have said it and I haven't.
No. So the doors are currently temporary. They're wooden, and so we like to make them permanent with steel secure doors. And so this would be for the longevity of the pool opening and for ease of maintenance and operations to access it.
And this requires approval from the landmarks?
Correct.
Okay,
Yes.
just wanted to be clear.
All the elements across that west elevation were reviewed and approved by landmarks. So before we do go to landmarks, they ask that we do come to the community board beforehand.
Gotcha.
Typically for a letter of support.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Richard?
I have a question about what's available within the facility. You have obviously the filtration system. Is there access to any major electric within that area?
Within the mechanical area?
Yeah, within the mechanical area. That would be in case there's any other uses that may require electric that we may look at trying to create, like in the diving pool for performances or other type of uses that might end up going in there.
I know there are separate panel boxes that are away from obviously the wet elements, and so they're in a room adjacent. So I know there are panel boxes that are being installed or have been installed in the room there. And so, yes, there are electrical panel boxes there.
I'd love to find out the amperage and things like that at some
Sure,
point.
sure.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you, Richard. Tony, and then Corinne.
Thank you for your presentation. Actually, 20 years ago, when we put the Veterans Memorial right in front of where your doors are, we had asked Parks to store some very important pavers with names of veterans, and they gave us access to that particular door. And it's a no-brainer to make sure that it's secure. The fact that it's a very wide door, they did put the 2 doors for that reason. And I don't see any issues because it's not affecting the landmark status. It's just something that's part of the actual building. So I would think that rather than have a wooden door that doesn't really offer any security, that the new doors should be a big improvement.
Okay. Corinne?
Thank you. Did you mention something about a playground?
There is a playground nearby that was redone.
Redone?
I think it was done a few years ago. The nearby playground that's there, and it has a public restroom as well.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, are there any other questions? No? Okay, thank you, Alex. We'll be voting on this item during the business section of the meeting, okay? Thank you. All right, next up, we have our public hearing regarding 31-17 12th Street rezoning. Are the applicants here to do their presentation? Okay, they're not here yet. Okay, well, they're not here right now, so we'll give them some time. Maybe they're stuck in traffic, but hopefully they'll get here soon. What we can do is we can kind of move on ahead through our meeting. So, okay, great. Let's start off with the adoption of the 2024 minutes. Everyone got those minutes via email. Hopefully you had time to read through them. Would anyone like to make a motion to approve the minutes? Motion to approve. Okay, Tony, thank you. Vanessa, second. Thank you so much. Anyone opposed? Okay, all right. Minutes are approved. Okay, next I'll give just a quick little report. Came up much sooner than I thought it was, but anyway. So it's been a month since the election, and since then I've had a couple meetings with Florence and with Marie, helping to acclimate me and transition, to make sure we're kind of, doing all of our due diligence and learning what we need to learn. So I want to thank Florence and Marie, both for that. I wanted to kind of update you on some of the things that we are going to be doing over the next, period here. One of them is we will be sending out a survey to all the board members. And basically, this survey is going to ask you what committees you are interested in being on. Are you interested in a leadership role on those committees? Might be asking you just a few other questions to get your input on things. But basically, one of the things that falls within my role is to look at committees. And every year, new committee appointments are made. We are going to be getting some new board members as well. The last I heard from the Borough President's office, we have 5 vacant seats for this next round. That is just basically, people either resigned or they didn't reapply. That does not include anyone who may or may not be reappointed, but we know that there are going to be 5 vacant seats. So I would like to start with the board members and kind of survey what your interests are, and so that we can look at our committee structures, and also be talking with the new committee chairs, or any new committee chairs, I should say, when they're appointed, and all the committee chairs in general, just about kind of like what the expectations are, and also provide any guidance that you may need and helping you with your role, whether you currently serve as a board chair or whether you may be serving as a new board chair in the future. So that's just one thing that's going to happen around committees I just wanted you to know about. The other thing is that we also have the ability to appoint public members to each committee. We do have a public member now on land use, And we do have a public member on parks. I think those are the two official public members. Maybe I'm missing one, but really we can appoint a public member to every committee. So we are going to do an official call for applications, a very short application, and also talk to the BP because we had over 70 applications for the vacant board seats here at Community Board 1, so there's a lot of people who are interested. So looking at those folks in case they're interested in applying to be a public member, and also anyone else who may be interested as well. So a public member, just for those of you who don't know, public members serve on committees. They can vote on the committee, but they do not vote at the full board meetings. And so if you want to learn more about that, you can actually go look at our bylaws, which I encourage everybody to do. They're on our board website under resources, and it kind of just talks about how the board functions, and including how there are things like public members. So that's just a heads up on that. I think those were kind of the main things. Let me just quickly look at my notes. I also wanted to say that Rod has agreed to do a training for all of the board on parliamentary procedure, all that kind of stuff. So, you know, we'll be setting up a date for that in early May. And so he'll be working with Florence on setting that up. So that's for any new board members, but also all of us as well, just to kind of, you know, dot our I's and cross our T's regarding parliamentary procedure. So I want to thank Rod for agreeing to do that. The other thing I just wanted to mention is that we do have, there was a position that was posted for an office staff person, a part-time position. So that is on the Queen's Gazette and Queen's Post website right now. So, you know, certainly check that out. You can send the link to anyone that you see there. You can also ask Florence if you need the job description, but that position has been posted. Again, it is a part-time position, and it's for a community aide. So assisting Florence and service aide, assisting Florence and the office with all sorts of things. So those are just some quick updates from me. Florence did send out my email to all of you. If you should need to contact me, please do. I encourage you to. If you have any thoughts, ideas, concerns, you can email me about those as well. And I'm happy to also give any board member my cell phone number if you need it, if you don't have it. So just, I'm not going to just advertise it here to everybody. But if you would like that, please come and see me after the meeting. That's it for me. And now I'll hand it over to Florence, who is going to give her report.
Thank you, Evie. Thank you very much. Good evening, board members. It's so good to see you all again. During the recent month at the Borough Cabinet, there was a presentation from Animal Care Centers of New York. They will be opening a brand new 50,000 square foot facility in Queens, 1906 Flushing Avenue, Ridgewood. In the handout, it informs you of their other locations. It is also reported that Long Island City has the highest proportion of dogs per capita, 180 licensed animals with 4,702 people. This is about one dog for every 26 people. So please look at the handouts that have been provided to you here, and this one is the one that I'm speaking about for the ACC. Our office recently received Principles of Good Design. We have a planning tool here that you have for your use. We have printed it out for a copy for you to retain for your review and for your records. This is an illustrated guidebook that is intended to assist New Yorkers from all walks of life. Our office additionally received a flyer for an event to occur on March 25th, 2024 at Reese Neighborhood Settlement. This will be related to power and energy. This will be a public workshop to reimagine Ravenswood, so please see it in your packet. Our office is continuing to hear concerns from the Steinway Industrial Business Zone. Our office has been working hand in hand with the task force from the mayor's office. Their most recent follow-up with our office has stated, active recaps, a total of 10 vehicles were removed and a total of 1 summons, 3 were issued. The breakdown is as follows. 13th Street, 33rd Avenue, 34th Avenue, 5 vehicles, 3 summonses issued, 1 RV towed, 1 bus violation towed, 1 bus voluntarily removed, 1 occupant accepted services from Department of Homeless Services, 43rd Street, 19th Avenue to 20th Avenue, one RV voluntarily was removed. 46th Street, 19th Avenue to 20th Avenue, one RV was voluntarily removed. Finally, if your smoke alarm still uses removable batteries, be sure to change them twice a year. A great reminder is changing batteries on the day the clocks are changed for daylight savings times, which just passed. Please consider replacing these alarms with the ones that contain sealed 10-year batteries as soon as possible. Smoke alarms save lives. If you experience a fire when leaving, please always remember, close the door. This also is a life-saving action. Our office continues to work with New York City agencies to remedy the concerns of the public. As always, please feel free to call or email with questions, concerns, or complaints. Thank you all. Have a wonderful meeting.
Thank you so much, Florence. I just want to check, are the applicants here? They're still not here, right? No. Okay, all right, we're going to keep going. All right, next up we have committee reports. I just want to double check on whether we have 26 people here at least. You have 25? Now we have 26. Okay, so just so you know, we can take a vote if we need to. All right. Okay, so we are going to start off with the airport committee, but I believe Rosemary is not here. Business Economic Development, we will be appointing a new chair soon for that committee. Consumer Affairs, Dino?
Good evening, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Really quickly, the last board meeting where there was a discussion and concerns about a business in the area code. So one of the things that Florence did immediately after the meeting, we called the owner of code, and we actually brought that owner in. He in turn also brought in his manager and head of security to actually meet with Florence. I was invited to the meeting as chair of the Consumer Affairs Committee. 114th Precinct was also there, and there was a robust discussion about the complaints that we've been getting here at this meeting, and NYPD also said that they are now seeing an increase in 311 complaints, right? So what was discussed there was a change in the way that security will be at the end of the night, dispersing crowds kind of outside when the club is closing. So they're going to do some sort of like sporadic kind of closure instead of saying like, oh, it's 4 o'clock, everybody get out, right? So it's going to be staged. And so I'm hoping from the conversation that we had, very willing participant to actually be a really good neighbor. He wants to actually hear from the community if there are other concerns. And so for me, again, and I've always said this, always bring those concerns to Florence, and we will try to, as much as possible, address those. And so if there are continued items that need to be discussed about this particular business, just please bring it to Florence's attention, and we will certainly take care of that.
So thank you for doing that. I would say if there are going to be other meetings, it would be good to invite the Consumer Affairs
So
Committee.
it wasn't a meeting with the committee. It was just a meeting that Florence called with the owner.
I
right,
realize that.
to
What
do
I'm
that.
saying
Yep.
is I think it would be good because I think other people might have had questions or
Sure,
wanted to,
yeah.
since that was a concern for many
Yep.
people. And that was at the board office or that was at code?
That was at the board office.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
Yep. So on this week's agenda and packet that Florence sent out, there are 21 businesses that are up for renewal, not concerns that are being brought forth from our NYPD partners as kind of utilizing unnecessary city resources. And again, no concerns on our end. So I would like to put a motion forth to approve these 21 businesses that are on this list for approval.
Second, please, name.
It's either Tony or Rob.
Rod?
I don't know who said what first.
Okay, let's,
Same time. Jinx.
okay, are there any questions about any of the, we have the motion to approve, but do we have any questions about any of the,
Just a quick question.
yes?
Shaw Newsstand. I'm not familiar with newsstands having liquor licenses. Is there a story there? Do you see that week 3 top line there is a newsstand asking for a liquor license? So,
They call it a newsstand, but it's a deli. I do the background.
So it's a newsstand that's on 21st Avenue.
They used to call them bodegas or such.
so are we approving on license and off license? Because I assumed it was only on license, meaning like every place that serves a bottle you can take home with you we're not approving. I assume it's only places that serve liquor publicly, correct?
Please repeat your question.
There's off-license and on-license liquor sales. One is a place where you can drink there. Another is where you could buy it at a liquor store
Okay,
and take
I
it home.
understand.
Are we approving both types?
So we don't have to approve delis. I encourage them to send them in. But if they do send them in, we will vote on them. But if they don't mandatorily by law in New York have to send them in. So the corner delis normally do not have to send in beer and wine licenses. Some of them do. And those that do, if they do send them in, I always put them on the list and bring them forward to you, the board. I don't say to them, it's not necessary for you to send it to us. If they do, we vote on it.
Got it. And maybe so.
It's a courtesy.
Thank you for that. The only thing that might be helpful for us to determine in the future is separating off and on license, because if we're offering the same approval to them to a place that serves liquor on license, meaning people can drink at that place, then we're giving a newsstand that ability, and that
No,
might
we're not. Absolutely not. The form that they fill out is a completely different mannerism in its content, so that's not the case.
I think that's a good point, though, Frank, and I think,
Yeah, it's
I don't
appreciated.
recall actually ever voting for,
Oh, it's happened many times.
I guess
It's
we
just
just
never
missed
been
it.
pulled out.
Thank you, thanks,
Yeah,
Frank.
many times.
But can we maybe in the future, if that's going to be the case, just to kind of make a footnote, that would be great.
Maybe that's what's meant by type BC, and my apologies. That's why I
Precisely.
wanted to ask, because I'm still learning, so.
It's okay, it's quite all right. Sometimes we also get liquor stores, which are not mandated to do it, but if they send it in, I will never hold it back from the list. It'll always go to the chair of the committee, and it'll always come to you, the board members, for review.
Okay, any other questions?
Thank you.
Yes, Rod.
Just a point of clarification, it's on-premise and off-premise, not on-license and off-license.
Excuse me.
Just makes it clearer for everybody.
Got it, thank you. Okay, any other questions? So the motion's on the table, it was seconded, so if you approve, please raise your hand. Any objections? Anyone abstaining? Okay, motion carries, thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
All right, next up, we have Education, Library, and Youth Services. No report? Okay. Environmental and Sanitation. Antonella?
A few months ago, we had Fluoride Action Network speak at our committee meeting, and we were going to propose a motion for the board. But since then, the Fluoride Action Network trial began and concluded against the EPA. We're waiting for the decision to be handed down, and then we will see whether fluoride will have to be removed from municipal waters. So I'll keep you posted on that. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Health and Human Services. Okay, Judy's not here tonight. Housing, is Katie here? Not here. I know that there is a housing committee meeting coming up, or did that happen this past week? Okay, great. I was away. All right. Okay, next is Land Use and Zoning. I will hand it over to Liz.
Well, this is the first, ladies and gentlemen. We've never had, but I think it's due to a misunderstanding. He probably figured that the committee was going to make a presentation, but that's not the case. So, but you all did receive the report yesterday, I believe, and an option here The deadline for us to make a recommendation is not until early May, so we could have them come in and make the presentation in April if that's what you want, or you can do it on the basis of the report that was sent to each of the members.
Yeah, I mean, I feel it's good for them to make a presentation. So unless anyone is really not wanting to see a presentation at the next meeting, but we can see if they can come. Well, I mean, that's okay. We'll probably have a short meeting tonight and maybe a longer one next time, so just be prepared. I think it's important that they do a presentation. Yeah.
Okay, we'll be in touch with him to let him know what our procedure is, what our protocol is. I just wanted to mention that we are having another meeting on May 8th, and at that time we have 2 applications now. One is for rezoning on 40th Avenue and 27th Street, going to no, sorry, that's not a rezoning, that's a fresh supermarket for which they will get additional floor area. And then there is a rezoning on 30th Avenue and 42nd Street. There's a Key Food there, which is going to expand and have a residential development above it. I don't remember the particulars, what, 6 stories perhaps, or 6A. I want to encourage all of you to go to the Department of City Planning's website to watch the videos. It's time consuming. I have to warn you, each one that they have is about an hour and a half, and it's a lot of information. But what's going to come down the line for you to consider is a whole different kind of urban design for our neighborhood. So things are going to change, and you should be aware of what's going to happen with respect to what's going to be allowed to be within the zoning districts coming our way. They're also, lower, and their focus, a lot of it is going to have an effect on us because we are considered a low to medium density community, and that's what they're focusing on, increasing density, especially around transit areas, and we have good access to transit. So I do urge you to look at it. The first one was about affordability. The second was February 27th, which was the different kinds of housing types to be expected to come. And also March 27th is a new one, which is missing middle housing types. And I'm not sure what that means at this point. I didn't read up on that yet. I'm taking it as it comes. So I do recommend that you look at that, look at those videos, because it'll probably come to us in May at this point. We're still waiting for the draft text amendments. So at this point, that's all I have to report.
Thank you, Liz. Yeah, I want to emphasize trying to learn as much as you can about the City of Yes housing proposals. Again, we don't have the text amendment yet. We'll probably get that at the last minute, that's what happened before as well, but there's preliminary information that you can access, and I do believe that land use and housing are planning a joint committee meeting specifically to talk about those proposals, and that's going to be scheduled as well, and that's open to any board member who just wants to learn more and discuss before the board meeting as well.
Excuse me. Evie.
Yes, let me put my glasses on. So Diana, I saw, oh, Liz, go ahead.
Evie, yes. I just realized I was looking at next month's agenda, draft agenda, and I said May 8th. Our next meeting is going to be April 3rd. Okay.
Yeah, we pretty much have a land use meeting every month.
No month off.
Pretty much. And those links to those videos were sent by Florence, but again, you can go to the City Planning website and access those videos as well. Diana, then Tony.
When when the city is looking at low and medium density and to increase the density, are they also looking at building the infrastructure around it? Because I feel like a lot of times we talk about adding housing but not like a school, right? For all the families, I mean, might want, or adding school spots. I'm just using schools as an example because I think that is
Well,
top of mind.
I don't know how they're handling it. I don't know if they're going to come out with new zones. I don't know if they're going to be, right now, when there is a rezoning and the density is increased, they do the environmental review and they look at those, there are levels at which if you exceed, if the impacts are going to be higher than certain levels, then you have to do more, you might have to do mitigation, meaning you might have to have a school somewhere, or you might have to, you know, whatever, you know. But I don't know how they're going to handle the increase in this at this point. I don't know if we're keeping the same zoning districts. I don't know if the zoning districts are going to be completely changed. And I'm just assuming, and then now with the change in the environmental assessment, where they have a threshold of, what is it, 400 units? 250 units for medium and low density areas. So if you go below 250, there's no environmental review. I'm not sure if that's been passed. Has that been, that was the, what was it called? The fast track. I don't know if it's been completed, if it's been adopted yet, but there were new rules that were being put in place to increase the number of residential units that can go into a project without an environmental review, which would indicate where there are impacts that would be coming from development. So we have to see how all of this is going to work out. It's, the focus is not on preservation. The focus is not on context of neighborhoods. It's on getting more units built in the city.
Thank you for that question, Diane. I actually think that's important for the Education Committee to look at as well, you know, and I know that we kind of talked about it when Innovation Queens was happening. They didn't think a school needed to be built, yet there was going to be several thousand people, you know, being added to the neighborhood through that. And so I think talking with the Office of Enrollment and School Construction and seeing what's, you know, what does the Blue Book say and all that kind of stuff is really important, and to call out those questions during the land use process as well, I think is really important. So thanks for bringing that up. Tony.
Yeah, I just have one question for Liz. As far as the LaGuardia Shopping Center project, I know that they're looking to build up in their request. I just have the question about, are they going to allow the existing businesses to stay to build over them, or are they going to make them go out and build up?
Let me just, I'll answer your question. At the last meeting, we had a presentation by the group that owns the LaGuardia Shopping Center. They have a proposal to rezone most of the block. Only the industrial buildings on the corner of 23rd Avenue are excluded from the rezoning. I forgot what it was, that R7A, I believe, was the zone they were asking for, which is comparable to the mega development across the street, 8 stories and the same kind of density. They're talking about 400 plus residential units, and they're, I believe, doubling the retail. Their intent is to build the majority of the building where the existing retail is, because they claim that they have, they built it, when they first built that center, they built the foundations to support an 8-story building. So they knew way back when that was built that they were going to redevelop in the future. I mean, it was a smart move for business-wise. However, across the street we have 1 and 2-story single-family homes, and 8 stories on a narrow street is going to really have an impact on the surrounding area. the committee does have issues with the size of the development. And, but anyway, to answer your question with respect to the retail, what they're going to do is have like a corridor in the center with retail access on both sides. And the supermarket, I believe, is supposed to remain where it is at the end of the development. It's not in its final stages. They have not filed it with city planning as yet. So, and I don't know what the intent, how long down the line. They're thinking by the end of the year, they should have it filed. So
as far as you see right now, they're looking to retain the Very Fresh supermarket and the other stores, or are they looking to make them go out so they can build up from the foundation?
well, they're not going to be able to occupy the site while it's under construction.
Okay.
That's for sure. We asked about that, and their response was it's very difficult to maintain safety and also a construction schedule if you have occupants on the site. Phasing would take them much longer to construct the project rather than getting in there and getting it done and then having them return. He did happen to mention that Very Fresh was enthusiastic about having a newer and larger space. I don't know about the other ones. I don't know about the other tenants.
Andreas?
Liz, if I'm remembering correctly, I don't think did they like explicitly rule out like phased building, or it was something that they were still kind of discussing, I think, right? Because I think they wanted to kind of do it in sections where maybe they could preserve some of the businesses for as long as they can, but I got the same impression that, everybody's gonna have to like get out of there at some point at least. But I don't think they've fully gave us like a picture of how that construction is gonna be phased, right? Just to clarify.
You're right. I mean, they did say, maybe we can keep some people on site. But the bottom line was that I got the impression that they wanted to vacate the site so they can get it done faster.
Richard? And then Frank. I know, I'm trying to give other people a chance.
I just want to bring up, it was a 2-year construction period, they said. So for any businesses to survive, when it's out like that, I think at the end of the day, I don't know how many of the same businesses will be able to wait that period of time. I don't think that they're going to be giving them any sort of breaks or financial breaks to do it. So I would not expect it to be the same buildings. And the other thing I wanted to mention too, and Jerry mentioned this, the reason why they're building so much bulk on 43rd Street next to the two-story homes is, like you said, they want to continue to use the existing foundation, so they want to have the same shape. And to be honest with you, while they think that they're saying that it would support it, Jerry actually mentioned that he knew the facilities and he had serious doubts that in fact that could happen. So there's going to be a lot that's going to happen with this building. And I really, really do feel that having the bulk on 43rd Street instead of 45th, for me, is a non-starter.
Yeah, it should have been focused on 45th Street where there was similar type development. Yeah.
Okay, last question or comment?
Just a quick reflection. I just wanted a +1, and it sounds like you're already communicating this, the interest of the community having a grocery store there, even if it's not very fresh. I'm assuming we can't stipulate it, but we can certainly communicate that we'd ask a commitment from them, the
Well,
developers.
there is a supermarket up in the next block on Ditmars. It's a small one, privately owned, I
So
believe.
I live all the way up in 79th, and there's a supermarket near us that is so limited that we oftentimes have to go to Very Fresh. So it's not even what's there. If Very Fresh goes down, it's 20 blocks of other folks that often rely on it. So just want to communicate there's a big community interest there. Thank you.
I know.
Yeah, thank you. To be determined, right? So that was just an informational, kind of
That's right.
pre-informational presentation to kind of get our initial feedback. You can also watch that on our YouTube channel if you want to see the presentation and hear the questions that we asked as well. I encourage everybody to also, if you haven't read Liz's report yet on the land use items, to make sure you read those reports before you come to the meeting as well. But those are all great questions, and I think there is a lot of community concern, specifically around the supermarket, for sure, and as well as the bulk. Any other things you wanted to mention, Liz? Are you?
No.
You're good? Okay. All right, great. So let us move on to legal legislation parliamentary.
As Evie mentioned, there will be a training on parliamentary procedure, Robert's rules in May. That training will only be as good as you guys make it, as in, tell me what your questions are, because I can teach thousands and thousands of hours on Robert's rules and you'll go to sleep. Or we can make it really interesting about how the things that you actually need to know. Could that be part of the survey that you're sending out?
Absolutely.
Cool. That's it.
All right, next up, we have Parks, Recreation, and Cultural, but Kathleen is not here. We do need to take a vote on whether to provide a letter of support. I think Shahanaz is the vice chair, but she's not here either. Yeah. Yeah. So, I don't, I mean, can I? Okay, so since Kathleen is not here and the vice chair is not here either, due to holiday, I'm going to put it out there to see if we can have a motion to provide a letter of support for the door project, the presentation that was presented tonight. Oh, wow, such enthusiasm. How about Vanessa? Okay, great, I love it. Keep it up. Okay, so Vanessa, someone want a second? Okay, thank you, Richard. Any comments, discussion, anything? Okay, raise your hand if you're in favor.
We had a question.
Sorry, Ethan.
I'm sorry, quick question about
I mean, Brian, I'm sorry.
Yep, it's a quick question about the Reimagine Ravenwood on March 25th.
That's separate. We can get to this.
Okay.
Yeah. This is just about the letter of support
I'm
for
sorry,
the historical. No, it's okay. All right, so all in favor? Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? All right, we're good. Thank you. Unanimous. Okay, great. Transportation, Dominic.
Thanks. Hi, everybody. We had a Transportation Committee meeting where the guest speaker in her group was Megan Molina of the New York City Transit, and the topic was the MTA Queens Bus Network redesign. It was very interesting. We had 6 of 8 of our members were there. Not a heavily populated committee meeting, but still we did some good work and learned some good things. And I thought their team was very professional, and I was impressed by their intent and their plans. And you can see the network redesign on the web. I don't have the website. You can get it from Florence or so, but it's pretty major. And then secondly, we will be having a meeting on April 15th, which is a Monday next month, where the DOT will present and provide a presentation regarding a grant for federal funding to place an ADA-compliant sidewalk and/or ramps in our community. So that we also hope to get some information about the Queensboro Bridge and the 31st Street Bike Boulevard that's proposed. So that's on Monday, the 15th of April. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dominic. I'm sorry, I skipped over public safety. Tony, do you have a report?
Madam Chair, I do not.
Okay, thank you. Let's see, that's all of our committee reports. So with that, is old business and new business? Any old business? New business. Brian, you wanted to bring something to our attention. I'll get to you.
Yes, thank you. In regards to the Reimagine Ravenswood Public Workshop, now what community board involvement is there in this process? Are they do they do a presentation here as well? Or I know that they have a project committee set up for this. I know it's going to be a long ways off. They'll probably have multiple workshops, but does that involve this board at all with?
All I know is what's on this flyer.
Okay.
So I don't know, and I don't know if we have a rep from the BP's office here tonight. Yes? Okay, maybe you can talk about it when you address the board, but there's a whole lot of workshops going on about a whole bunch of things. So there's the one LIC, then, which is more city council and city planning. This seems like it's coming out of the BP's office, and also Rise Light and Power, which is one of the power plant companies. So, yes, you can scan the code. Members of the public, I think there might be flyers on the table. If not, we can put one there and people can scan the code. But, there's a lot of interest in development in this neighborhood too, so the community involvement is really, really important. So right now, I think nothing formal has come before the board, and I think these are more just kind of bringing people together. I'm not really sure, but we'll try and find out more as well. But you have the info. It's March 25th, 6:30 to 8. That's at 1 o'clock. Maybe we'll hear more when the BP's rep comes up. But thank you for that. Great. Anyone? I know. I'm just trying to see anyone who hasn't had a chance to talk yet, who wanted to bring up anything. Okay. Is that Stella behind the mask and the hat? Thank you.
I wanted to ask about the animal shelter. I heard that it's pretty much going to be located in Rico Park, which is very far from here. And we have such a huge animal population here that we do a lot of volunteer work on our own, and it's exhausting. Is it possible to even get a smaller, like an extension here in Astoria, Long Island City? It would really help us. I mean, we have so many ferals in terms of that, and I know me and another teacher, we have done so much over the years, literally picking them up using our pocket money, finding homes, having to go to Manhattan when they were allow us to leave them, if not going very far just to find a home for these animals. So it would really make a big difference. I can understand needing a 50,000 square feet in Rico Park, but there must be a way we could have a smaller one here, like a sister extension. Is that
I think there's a very active community here.
Yes.
In Western Queens, for sure, cat rescue, animal welfare. I mean, for our elected official reps that are here tonight, I mean, maybe that is something that you can kind of take back to them. Yeah, there is going to be a new shelter there, but definitely, is that something that could be considered for this community as well? I think that's a good...
I know I see a lot of groups coming here to raise money and whatever, but we totally ignore them because we're using our pocket money to really help out on a block and the next block, etc. So none of us pretty much, it's useless when they come here unless it's for adoption. But if it's to donate, I know I see them coming up on Broadway and all that. And it's kind of sad, and there's no point donating them because we need all this pocket money to take care of the animals we pick up individually. And we're not necessarily a group, we're just a community, and we help each other.
So you know that every fall we also put together our capital requests, our what we would like to see. So remember when that meeting comes, not just you, Stella, but you might want to get other members of the community to come in and advocate to put that on the list.
Thank you so much.
Okay, Richard? Yep.
A couple things I wanted to bring out with Old Astoria Neighborhood Association that is coming up, and it's related to what Stella was just talking about. On the 27th, we're going to be having a virtual meeting. We put together a volunteer group for a new dog run in Whitey Ford Field down in Hallett's Peninsula. The volunteers, we have 45 of them, which is not bad, will be addressed by Partnerships for Parks. We will have this online. We don't have the specifics now, but I can, if you just Google Old Astoria Neighborhood Association, you should be able to find out the link to that. And also on April 18th, we're co-sponsoring with an event with the Champaign Hudson Power Express, an event and discussion on the installation of the power lines It's open to the public. It'll be at St. George's Church on 27th Avenue and 14th Street. And this will be a discussion on how they're going to be laying the power cables down from up around 20th Avenue on down to the Con Ed facility down on Vernon Boulevard. So that'll be hitting Shore Boulevard, 14th Street, Vernon Boulevard. It'll affect the neighborhood a lot, and it'll affect traffic.
Thank you, Richard. Anyone else? New business? No? Okay, thank you all for sharing that. Oh, Frank, go ahead.
Thank you, and sorry, I know I've been a little chatty today. Just two quick things. For anyone celebrating Ramadan Kareem, I think if Maghrib is about 15 minutes ago, so hope folks are breaking their fast. Secondly, Bari Doste Irani wa Afghanama, Naruz Mubarak, and anyone who is celebrating Persian New Year, today's the day. So excited that we have both holidays at once. Just wanted to wish that out to the community.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Next up, we are going to hear from representatives from our elected officials. If you would like to speak, we're going to ask you to 2 minutes, if you can. That would be great. And just please sign in, say your name, and obviously what office you represent. Thank you.
Absolutely. Good evening, everyone. Brian from the Office of the Public Advocate here with a few announcements. So just as a reminder, heat season is from October 1st to May 31st. Indoor temperatures must be at least 68 degrees during the day, when outdoor temperatures are below 55 degrees and 62 at night. Report issues to your building management or 301 if they occur. Free tax preparation is available for eligible New Yorkers. The deadline to file a tax return for your 2023 taxes is April 15th, 2024. And you can find out more about that at nyc.gov/DCA. Continue to protect yourself and others from COVID-19. New Yorkers can sign up for an updated COVID-19 vaccine as well as flu shot at vaccinefinder.nyc.gov. New Yorkers can also sign up for free PCR tests at on.nyc.gov/COVIDexpress. Just some legislative updates as well. Public Advocate Williams recently released a review of the response to the arrival of migrants in the city from all levels of government, including our own office. In the review, he calls for New Yorkers to reject the false assertions and attacks about the migrant population in the city and instead extend the compassion that is at our city's core and history. You can read more about that review, which includes a chronological timeline of city, state, and federal action to address the arrival of asylum seekers on our website, advocate.nyc.gov. The council recently held a hearing on the Public Advocate's bill to prohibit discrimination in issuing credit and mandate transparency in the process. The bill could help hundreds of thousands of people applying for mortgages, small business loans, and other types of credit, as well as protect groups of people in this city that face historical discrimination and unfair treatment when it comes to banking, homeownership, and access to financial opportunities.
Time's up, buddy. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Could make a final point. Do you have a final point? I didn't want to cut you off mid-sentence.
Sorry, I just
yeah.
figured. But yeah, you can always reach out to our office at gethelp@advocate.nyc.gov or by calling 212-669-7250.
Thank you so much. Thanks. Yeah, so when your time is up, Tyrone will just say time's up, and then you can just wrap up whatever you're,
Awesome, thank you. Hi, my name is Shauna. I'm the Director of Community Affairs for State Senator Gonzalez. First off, she wants to say Ramadan Mubarak to everyone who celebrates. She's really looking forward to joining iftars all over the district, in particular in this part of Queens where celebrations are ongoing and plentiful. On March 25th, from 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock, we'll have our office hours monthly event at Astoria Houses in their community center. If you have any state level issues or even city level, we're more than happy to help. And we are more than happy to pass on anything that could be a federal, like immigration, onto your correct representatives in Congress or Senate. We've been doing a lot of school visits around the district lately, and not only just to make connections, but also to hear about any needs that they have for capital and infrastructure issues. You know, if you have a local school that needs funding for things like HVAC systems or, you know, like doors that are not working, like we're talking about this other thing, please feel free to reach out to us, and I can walk you through what the process is like to apply for funding from our office. We're more than happy to help to upgrade our schools. Just wanted to say that we had a really nice event with Urban Upbound recently, and they're doing their free tax prep event this week, and yeah, to help support them as well. And the senator is really fighting hard in Albany right now for the budget. We're coming up to the end. It should be done hopefully April 1st. Usually ends up going a smidge longer, but she's fighting really hard for things that help not only our district, but districts all over the state, particularly with technology and internet issues with, Wi-Fi, broadband, stuff like that, but also things like housing, which is incredibly important, especially for places like this. Last but not least, we're attending the Queens Bus redesign meeting that was mentioned earlier. We're fighting for the Long Island City to Midtown bus route, but if there's anything that you see as a gap in the Queens bus system that you would like to have funded, or not funded, but redesigned, please reach out to us. I'm going to leave a stack of cards over here, and you can email me. Okay? There currently isn't one, but we're saying because exactly. So it's more like Long Island City area to Midtown because the congestion pricing is going to be coming up really soon. We're trying to get a more accessible way for people to get into Midtown. Basically, like a lot of our
Thank you.
trains, yeah, the trains are not accessible a lot of times.
Thank you, Shauna.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. My name is Tiffany, and I'm here on behalf of Congresswoman Nydia Velasquez. Happy Women's History Month, first off. So for 2 points of legislation that she introduced into Congress one act is supporting America's Young Entrepreneurs Act of 2024. This act aims to provide loan cancellation for founders and employee of small businesses startups. This act also establishes a Young Entrepreneur Business Center. Another act that she introduced was the Survivor Financial Safety and Inclusion Working Group Act. This act aims to increase support for domestic violence survivors experiencing economic abuse. So for community project funding, the Congresswoman was able to secure $11 million for her congressional districts. Some Queens district allocations that she were able to provide funding for was 9 Million Reasons at Evangel Church, Queens Economic Development Corporation and Queens Together, and Sunnyside Community Services. I also put out some flyers there if you want to take a really detailed look at everything that she got congressional allocations for funding. So for this fiscal year 2025 Congressional Community Project Funding Request, Congress still does not have a clear guidance as to how our constituents can apply for funding. On Friday, they are supposed to be voting on the other half of the funding bill, basically. But you can come to me afterwards if you want to sign up. It's not up on our website yet because we do not have any guidance yet from the Appropriations Committee. But if you would like to sign up, if you would like to come to me to have community project funding requests starting, we could do that. Just come to me and I could provide you with that information. Lastly, if you wanted to check it out, the Consolidated Appropriations Act of 2024 is on congress.gov. You could see exactly what was funded. Thank you. Sorry, the timing was giving me nervous. I was like, 2 minutes, oh my God.
Wow. Okay, we don't mean to make you nervous, but you were like right on there, right at that 2-minute mark. So thank you. Thanks, Tiffany. It's not to make anyone nervous or there's a lot of people who want to speak, so that's why we're just trying to, keep it flowing.
Race
Thanks.
against the clock. I'll try my best. Hi, everybody. I'm Tessa from the Office of Councilmember Caban. Nice to see you all again. I'll start with our events. So we'll be having another CUNY Citizenship Now event at our office on Monday, April 1st. So there'll be an attorney coming to our office to answer immigration questions. If you know of anybody that would like to come, they can always call our office. We're also going to be, on the same note, we're going to be holding an event in Elmhurst on April 6th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Also with Community Citizenship Now. If you know anybody that is requiring assistance with assessing eligibility for naturalization, that it's going to be an event regarding that. We'll be having our Astoria Houses satellite office hours, March 25th from 2 to 5. It's the vote week for participatory budgeting is coming up, April 6th to April 14th. So there'll be voting sites, whatever weekend days are in there. And then there'll also be the opportunity to vote online. And we're going to be sharing the link shortly for the projects that are on the ballot and that we're going to be all our constituents want to see funded in our community. We're also going to be hosting a paper shredding event at Astoria Park on April 27th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Limited 5 boxes per person. I know my mom would bring more than that, so just bring 5. And then we're also going to be having an Unlocking Doors event in association with HPD, where they're going to be talking about their Unlocking Doors pilot program, which provides $25,000 in qualifying repairs for up to 400 rent-stabilized homes that are currently vacant and unavailable for rent. So if you want to come and learn more about that, just call our office. Additionally, really quick legislative updates. We've reintroduced 25 bills and resolutions that were considered last session, so we're working on those again. And we're also in the middle of preliminary budget hearings this month, and the council member is going to be questioning and hearing testimony at hearings led by the Committee on Public Safety and Mental Health, Disabilities, and Addiction. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to try to keep it under 2 minutes. Let's see if I can do that. My name's Javier. I'm with District Attorney Katz. Let's go. So the DA recently seized homemade bombs and illegally owned weapons, including assault rifles from 2 brothers in Astoria, in her continued effort to get guns and weapons off our streets and keep our communities safer. And more about that is right here in our newsletter. It's the front page of it, actually. She's also working with local precincts to tackle the issue of illegal scooters, which I know we are all very invested in, that are being used to commit violent crime and also nonviolent traffic crimes. She seized 250 last month, and she'll continue to do so as the months go on. And lastly, we are looking for RFP still, flyer on that table, and our Women's History Month event is next week, flyer also on that table. That's it.
Thanks, Javier.
Thank you.
You have, okay, what's your question, Danny?
What happens to those 250, What happens to those 250 scooters that are confiscated? Are they resold, they're destroyed? What happens to them?
Right now, the scooters that she confiscated, I believe, they're at the precinct. She's working with, it's multiple precincts. She worked with the 110th, she worked with, I believe, the 115th. So the precinct takes them, and then I believe they probably do resell them. I could find out for you, but I'd have to contact the precinct.
Okay, you know, I know there's probably going to be a lot, e-bikes are a topic. So we'll take 2 quick questions, but then we need to move on. So
I don't have a
questions.
question, I just have a point of information. As he mentioned, they do hold the scooters for a period of time until the owners can either certify that they actually are registered, and they can register them at the time, otherwise they can be destroyed.
Okay. Is that what you're going to say too, Dominic? Go ahead.
I was going to ask, what's the subject of the RFP? Nothing to do with e-bikes.
Oh, the RFP is just a request for proposal for funding. The flyer's over here.
Oh, it's not a specific?
No, it's not a specific. It's if you have a proposal for our office. The more, it's in the DA's approach to, like, I have talking points on it, but I'm not going to go into it right now because I'm trying to keep it under 2 minutes. Yeah.
Right.
It's all on the flyer. It's
all
on
right.
the flyer.
You can talk after if you want more
Yeah.
information. Thanks, Javier. Appreciate it.
Hello, my name is Steven Mendevelso. I work at the Queensboro President's Office at the Immigrants Affairs Department. I'm gonna answer your question in a minute. I want to remind everyone that our applications to become community board members is now closed. We have conducted our interview process and we are in the final stage before appointing our announce. I am proud to announce that we received 592 new applicants throughout the borough and 845 total applications, including re-applications. Not our personal best, but we still have a solid number. All applicants, whether appointed or not, will be notified by the beginning of April. If you have any questions, please reach out to our director, Khalil Bragg, at kbragg, BRAGG, at queensbp.org. When it comes to events, we have March 25th, the Irish Heritage Celebration event is going to be located in Sunnyside Community Services, which is located in 43rd, 31, 39th Street, Sunnyside. And then we have on Thursday, April 4th at 6 p.m., it will be at Queensboro Hall, our Vaisakhi celebration. When it comes to the Ravenswood, it's the Ravenswood Regeneration Station site and the neighborhood around it. The study is supported by Rice, Light and Power, the site owner, and New York State Energy Research and Development Authority. The aim of the study is to help the community plan and benefit from the Ravenswood Generation Station transition from a fossil fuel plant to renewable energy. I will be giving you, or anyone that has any questions, the email from the person that could answer very more specific questions in regards to this.
Could you provide that email? Because I just noticed that city council or city planning doesn't seem to be involved, so I'm just curious as to why they're not. I'd like to.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. What's the email that we should reach out to?
It's going to be K Bressler, BREZLER, at queensbp.org.
Thank you. I'll reach out to her. Appreciate it. Next.
Hello all, good evening. My name is Kazi and I'm from the Office of Assembly Member Stephen Raga. We have some quick updates to share with you all. We have introduced A095358, which revises the New York State Veterans Memorial and Monument Registry to make it easier to navigate and includes deadlines for the submission of memorials and monuments as well as for updating the registry. Additionally, we have introduced A9051, which would enact a study of the Guardian of Little program. The study aims to examine and usage of the program by New Yorkers and assesses the feasibility of expansions and wage increases. The program is vital for ensuring the well-being for our neighbors and helps them to stay in their home. The Assembly has also adopted the one budget resolution today. We are currently reviewing the proposals, but we are pleased to see inclusions. As for upcoming events, our office is currently offering tax preparation services in partnership with Urban Upbound. Appointments will be available on Saturdays. Please call our office to schedule an appointment and to take advantage of this valuable service. We also have an event coming up, and we are thrilled to share this with you. It's for the annual Woman of Distinction Award Ceremony, which will be held on March 23rd at Elmhurst Hospital from 1 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. We hope you guys can celebrate with us. Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Megan. I'm from the Community Affairs Unit. I'm the Queensboro Director. So before I give my quick update, I want to take this opportunity to thank all the community members, board members, and especially congratulations to our new chairs, and also a big shout out to our district manager, Florence. Thank you for your amazing work. So there are a few updates. March is the Women's History Month. So the mayor's office is committed to leading gender equity with the Women Forward NYC. This action plan. So you can go to the website. It's called the women.nyc. So this is the one-stop shop website, and you can learn more about the actions plans and to access to the more resources to support the women and families. And the second update is about the NYC School Bus app. This is the citywide app. So you can download this app and allow the parents to track their kids' the bus trips in real time. So another update is about the neighborhood supporting team. This initiative this initiative is driving by giving the inputs from the local communities to identify the quality of life issues. So right now is the application process. So you can go to our CAU website. There's a link. You can submit the link. And once you submit the link, it's going to go to the vetting process. So finally, that going to be identified three per borough. Once this identify those three neighborhood, is going to be establish a team. So going to be the team going to be with the city agencies and the community members, and then they're going to meet and have these actions plans to address those issues. So thank you, everyone. And also, our community affairs unit is a goal to build a strong partnership with all the community groups. So if anyone, I know, have any events, or I'm very happy to be there to support anyone's work. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good evening, Community Board 1. My name is Angela, and I'm with the Office of Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Earlier this month, the Congresswoman, along with Senator Durbin and Representative Mace, formally introduced the Defiance Act, a bipartisan bill that would create a civil right of action for the victims of non-consensual deepfake pornography. This is just the beginning of the Congresswoman's work on regulating AI as a newly appointed member of the bipartisan AI Congressional Task Force. Last week, the President signed into law 6 government spending bills and averted a partial government shutdown. The package includes funding for 14 projects in our district, bringing home over $12 million in total for our district. Some of the projects funded include $1 million to rebuild the playground at Astoria Houses, $1,166,279 to redevelop the Variety Boys and Girls Club, and $1,200,000 to Malika to develop a 3-story mixed-use violence prevention-focused community center here in Astoria. Our office invites high school students to participate in the 2024 Congressional Art Competition. The winner's artwork is recognized in a special reception by the Congressional Institute and displayed at the U.S. Capitol for 1 year. The deadline to submit is April 26th at 5 p.m., and our office is now accepting submissions, so you can visit our website to find out more information, or you can email newyork14art@mail.house.gov, and feel free to reach out to me directly if you'd like to follow up about anything that I mentioned tonight, and especially the art competition. Thank you.
Thanks, Angela.
All right. Hi there, everyone. My name is Jingo Mahmood. I'm from Assemblymember Jessica Gonzalez Rojas' office. I just recently joined as a community liaison, so I'm very excited to become a familiar face. All right, and now for some community events to serve our neighbors. On April 13th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. in partnership with Public Health Solutions and APICHA, we will have a mobile vaccination clinic at our office that's located in Jackson Heights Shopping Center. But they will be providing flu shots and COVID vaccines free of charge and for uninsured people. Our next housing clinic with Communities Resist will be on Thursday, April 18th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Please call our office to make an appointment, and that number that you could use to reach us at is 718-457-0384. Also, AARP will be having a paper shredding event. I know we love our good old paper shredding event. Again, at our office at Jackson Heights Shopping Center on Friday, April 26th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And then the next day, we're having another paper shredding event in partnership with Councilmember Caban, as mentioned earlier, Saturday 27th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Astoria Park parking lot. Some other updates, just letting you guys know that if you've been a victim of SNAP skimming, you could submit a claim to replace the benefits that have been electronically stolen and contact our office so that we could help you receive back your benefits. We're also hosting our e-waste drop-offs, as always, on Mondays. Call our office so that we could help you set a time to drop whatever you have off. Things like appliances, but not batteries or air conditioners. We don't know what to do with air conditioners. The completed list is posted on our social media platform. Lastly, if you need flood barriers or rain barrels, call us at our office and we'll help you with that as well. Again, our office to contact us, it's 718-457-0384. Happy to support you. Have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you. I just really want to acknowledge all the reps from the elected officials. I know you work really long hours, you work really hard for the community. Can we just give them a round of applause? Because we appreciate you being the eyes and ears as well and kind of reporting back to our electeds and being here so people can talk to you, members of the public can talk to you, when the meetings are over. So thank you for that. I will say that at our next meeting, we are going to have, it seems, 4 land use items. So this is my challenge to the reps, 1 minute for the next meeting. Just because, and it's great, we have so many people who come, but just so that you can all get home, at a reasonable hour and, we don't get kicked out of the space. So thank you again for that. Next up, we have the public session where members of the public are invited to speak. You have 2 minutes. Tyrone will be keeping time, our Sergeant of Arms. So we need you to make sure that you sign in your 2 minutes, say your name, and take it away.
My name is David Kupferberg, Vice President of Bus Advocacy, Passengers United. I believe that how to determine if a bus network redesign is a success or failure is local riders and how they are treated as part of the redesign effort. As per MTA's presentation, 17% of riders would lose their bus stop. This is unacceptable and won't help the MTA in a Title VI case. After all, 17% of the Queens population is 386,000. At its northern end, the B62 is proposed to serve Astoria via 21st Street. I think the B62 should not have route changes in Queens. Instead, there should be a new route to serve Astoria and Long Island City via 21st Street and the Queens Midtown Tunnel. I will call it the Q90. The surrounding communities have requested such a bus route for a long time. In Manhattan, the Q90 would serve NYU Langone Medical Center, Bellevue Hospital, and VA Hospital. Not having overnight service on the Q66 into Astoria is an abomination. I think that the Q66 route path should remain untouched, except for a minor reroute from 35th Avenue to 36th Avenue in order to serve the N and W trains. In other words, there should be no Q63. The Q100 Limited is proposed to be replaced with the Q105 Local. Doing so would turn Northwestern Astoria and part of 20th Avenue into a transit desert. The Q104 should be retained to serve Eastern Astoria and the Q100 Limited's 20th Avenue segment. Instead of serving the F train at 21st Street Queensbridge Station, the Q104 in Northwestern Astoria would be more direct. It would serve the N and W trains at the Astoria Boulevard Station. We must all work together to have better bus service for Queens. And I have longer versions on the table, plus my critique of bus stop balancing. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, because we can take a copy of that for our records. David, did you give your input to the MTA?
Yes.
Okay, so you've done that already. Okay, great. He has it over there. Yeah, if you could bring up a copy of your testimony, great, and your longer version. Thank you. Yes, Neil.
Neil Hurden, friend of Whitey Ford Field and long-time resident of Astoria, 35 years. Just a quick recap. We had a very successful event on March the 6th. We had a big cleanup involving the 114th precinct, Frank Sinatra High School and Astoria Sports. We've been in the press in the Chronicle. And thanks to Richard, we've also been featured on ONA. Richard, we've got another event for ONA, April 6th. It's called Pitching for Parks. This is a park organization event, not partnership for parks. So that's something we've got to reassemble, the same team, and some more volunteers. I want to raise something more general, and I'm going to curtail this a little bit until the Parks Committee is in place. But I think that the next, when you reassemble the group, you as a community board need to reach out to the friends groups. We're on the front lines. We're dealing with a lot of issues. Listening to many of the events and Zoom meetings in the past, there's a detachment, not from reality, but not really know what's going on. So I would encourage you to come down, talk to the friends groups, find out what's going on in the fields. We've been, for example, overrun by dogs at Fenton Whitey Ford Field, often unleashed. I don't know how many people know about that. A lot of it doesn't get reported. We've had incidents at some of the softball fields where players have been injured. And just to show you another issue that we've had, a $250 light bulb that should have been installed 2 years ago in a ball field has not been installed. And believe me, I spoke to Eric, and Eric said that they are still stuck trying to get the lights from China. That's all I want to say.
Thank you, Neil. Two things I'm going to ask you to do. One is lodge your complaints through 311 always, and then call the board office as well and talk to Florence. And in terms of, you're signed up for our email newsletter, so you know when committee meetings are happening as well, but you can attend committee meetings for sure. And thank you for coming to raise those points here and all the work that you're doing.
Hello, everybody. My name is Katha Cato. I'm from the Queens World Film Festival. We're turning 14. We're opening on April 16th. We're running through the 28th with 152 films from 19 nations, 67 from the New York metropolitan area, and there are 9 filmmakers from your district, and I believe that we have 6 of them here. I was just hoping that they could stand up, and if everybody could just give them a round of applause for bringing a word and their posters to you. I'm so proud of them. I'm so proud to be part of the Queens World Film Festival, and I just want to remind you that from the beginning of time, we have gathered in the darkened caves around the flickering lights to share our stories. The caves have been updated. The flickering lights are now zeros and ones, but the desire and the impulse to gather remains, and it is in that darkness when we laugh together, when we cry in unison, when we gasp in unison. It is in that darkness around those flickering lights when we discover and we remember they is us, them is we, and I am just another you. We will see you at Queens World, April 16th at the Museum of the Moving Image and at Kaufman Astoria Studios. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. How can we not go, right? We're all going to go. That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
Friends and family discounts for everybody. The board put it at $20. I was overruled. I want to keep it at $15, so I have $5 discounts for everybody.
Thank you so much.
Hello, everybody. My name is Paul Sapienza. I'm just here to bring you some information. I grew up in my family's home on 2502 Ditmars Boulevard. For those of you that are familiar, it's a corner house on Crescent Street down the block from the current St. John's Prep, the old Mater Christi. My grandfather bought the house in 1924, and during World War II, a local club approached my grandfather and asked if he would allow a signboard, a wooden signboard, to be added to our front yard where they could name add the names of the war dead as the war progressed. At the conclusion of the war, they asked for permission to establish a more permanent marker. On December 8th of 1946, a bronze plaque mounted on a gray granite stone was mounted in my family's front yard. And for those of you who've been around for a while, you may remember that's where the Veterans Parades used to terminate, to a 21-gun salute. I remember they used to give me the shell cases as a kid. But anyway, having said that, when my mother sold the house after the family had it for over 69 years, the new owners didn't want the plaque in the front of the house. It was removed. We tried to find a place for it at the time, but were unsuccessful. The plaque is dedicated to the men who made the ultimate sacrifice from the neighborhood. It doesn't use the word Astoria. So some suggestions were outside the community. We thought that was inappropriate. I've had this plaque for over 30 years. I am now in the process of trying to restore it by cleaning it up and so forth, and maybe having it publicly displayed once again within Astoria. And I've looked at several potential candidates from parks, post offices, public libraries. As a matter of fact, even one suggestion was on church grounds, although I must admit that I can't guarantee that all these servicemen shared the same faith, so that may not be appropriate. But I am working to that end, and someday I may come to you for some letter of support for resurrecting this in the community, but for right now, I just wanted to bring it to your attention of what I'm doing. I do have copies of the plaque, the picture of the house where it was located, and a spreadsheet of the men who are listed. And it is my intention of creating a website so that people could go and not only see the names, but find out who they were, where they lived, where they died, what battles they were in. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Paul. Keep us updated as you move along.
right. Grace and peace, everybody. My name is Donald Cogdell. I serve as the Director of Justice at Hope Astoria Church. And I didn't plan to speak tonight, but I realized there is an issue that me and my community, we've been trying to advocate for. I go to the Ravenswood meetings, Ravenswood resident meetings every month on the second Wednesday. And the issue is how DOT has redesigned the 21st Street bus stops. They removed the bus stop 21st and 36th Avenue. And the issue has been for seniors and those with disabilities. And, you know, I don't think there was any input that was asked from the community about the bus stop. And I think they have to walk now down to a whole nother block to catch the bus, and it just makes travel that much more inconvenient. So I have emailed DOT. They told me it's not their responsibility, and then they referred me to the MTA or 311, and I've done that. And so I'm just at a place trying to figure out how we can resolve this and bring the bus stop back for the people. So, yeah.
Thank you so much. I know that that was brought up when they did that redesign, so that there was a lot of concern about that. I know that the MTA met recently with the Transportation Committee, right? They just did. I don't know if that stop was discussed at all during that meeting.
So yeah, we saw like a new draft basically during the presentation, and so I don't know about that particular stop, but if you look up the Queens bus redesign on the web, there's like a whole thing that's showing the most revised version of it. Maybe they added something back, maybe they didn't, I don't know.
Okay.
But on that map, you can put comments if, let's say, there's a bus stop that was lost, that like, hey, the community uses this stop a lot, that would be helpful to have it. And they're listening, of course, there's no promises, but you can see if something's changed between then and now, at least.
How do I get to that map?
Yeah, it's on
okay.
it's on the MTA website, but if you Google MTA Queens bus redesign, the most revised version of it is up there, and it's a very cool map that you can like manipulate and see what routes.
Yeah, we'll get that information to you because you want to get as many people as possible to kind of give that input. Also, please call the board office tomorrow and speak to Florence. I would also say, you know, to our electeds as well, any advocacy that you can do on behalf of the Ravenswood community would be great as well. But thanks, Donald, for bringing that up. I know that it's been a concern.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
It is.
Great. Maybe you can share that after the meeting. That would be great.
Hello, good afternoon. I won't take much of your time. Victor, and I had a question mostly for youth services. Starting since last month, we've already been told that unfortunately our budget for a summer program has been cut immensely. We've already lost a day, and we've lost about, I'd say, 8 hours in total every week. So my question is there any way to stop that budget cut, or if there is any information at all, because this mostly came out of left field, unfortunately, for me and the rest of the staff located at the after-school program right now.
Yeah, I know. It's the budget cuts are hit people really hard this year. Then also people are very concerned about next year as well. So we do have a city council rep. Is she still here? From council member? Yeah, Tessa's in the back. So definitely, you know, I would say speak to her because our council member is fighting hard against a lot of the budget cuts. But the more she hears from the community, you know, the better. Also, we do have an education youth committee as well. So possibly that committee might want to consider, you know, a letter that goes out to the mayor. That's just a suggestion, but that's something for Diana to think about. But I would say, you know, coming here and speaking in front of the community board is really important, and connecting with our elected officials and making sure they're advocating and doing what they can, which I know they are, because I think they're in this community, everyone's really looking out just in terms of these budget cuts and how they're affecting the most vulnerable, and certainly that's true for youth and youth programs, and we need them.
I currently work with the Hannock Stanley Beacon program.
Okay, you have to raise your hand, Diana, sorry, just because other people do too. Okay, Chris.
Thank you so much. So I run a youth serving nonprofit in the district. I just want to assure you that there is enormous advocacy going on around this. A lot of the umbrella organizations that represent organizations like mine are advocating. Yesterday morning there was a large rally on the steps of City Hall before the budget meeting of the Education Committee. So I believe there will be some movement in the right direction. The tricky part is, and I know we're pressed for time, is we may not find out until 2 weeks before the contract year begins. That is 2 weeks before summer camp and summer rising start. Okay. So I would definitely follow up with Councilmember Caban and Councilmember Wan's office to get updates and to add your voice to those who are seeking to overturn this ridiculous budget cut.
Okay,
Thank
Dino?
you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I was going to tell you the same exact thing. So I work in New York City Public Schools for early childhood, and we've been proposed to get a cut of $170 million. And so one of the things that we advocated yesterday was the Education Committee. So our Deputy Chancellor was actually testifying along with the Chancellor, but one of the biggest proponents is to talk to your City Council member. They're the ones that are directly going to be advocating for the needs of the community, and then more importantly, kind of doing this back and forth kind of conversation with the mayor and OMB and everything of that sort. So all of the elected officials, I'm truly appreciative for the advocacy that they are doing on their early childhood, and again, for youth services. Really, really important. So just continue to do that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
Anyone else? Any other member of the public wish to say anything? Okay, before I ask for a motion to adjourn, I just want to remind everybody we're going to have a lot of land use items next month, so please read Liz's report before you come to the meeting, just because a lot of info will be there, and that can help you really hone in on any questions that you may have. So I just wanted to, again, emphasize that before the next meeting. So may I have a motion to adjourn? All right,
Second.
Dino, a second. Juliet? All right, all in favor? Okay, all right. Any opposed? Nah. Okay, all right. Have a good night.
This is my organization.
What's that?
Oh, is that right? Yeah, so what they're doing, I don't know how the government is. So they're converting not all of their plants from fossil to wind. So they're part of a big consortium that's doing a lot of wind power. To be very frank, they're trying to build. So they're trying to find out what the community needs are. I don't think it's involving development or, you know what I mean, drastic changes. They really want to find out what needs are so they can put money into it and win more support for what they're doing.